Behind the thinking of the Cold War's doomsday planners is a strange mentality. It's okay to destroy the planet and kill nearly everyone on it. Because if you're one of the elite, you get to survive.
These crazy Cold War bunkers, they're like fantasy landscapes. They're kind of like monuments to elite delusion and paranoia, because they won't work, but they embody this self-justification. Yeah, sure, we can invest billions of dollars, trillions of dollars in atomic weapons and even use them, and civilization will survive. That's deranged thinking.
It's 2017, just after Trump's inauguration. Media theorist Douglas Rushkoff shows up at an exclusive resort to deliver a talk about the digital future to a group of wealthy tech executives.
I was in the green room waiting to go on when 5 men came into the green room and sat around this little table they had there. And I found out that there was no talk for me to go do, that these guys were the talk. And they didn't want to hear the whole thing I had prepared. They just started peppering me with these questions, like Bitcoin or Ethereum. Which one should they bet on? Or augmented reality or virtual reality, which did I think would win? And then the third question, the one that made me realize that this was more than I signed up for, they said, Alaska or New Zealand? Meaning, where should they situate their bunkers for the event?
For years, New Zealand has been an apocalypse escape destination for America's elite. Notable homebuyers include the tech tycoon Peter Thiel, an outspoken supporter of Donald Trump. He's also bet that America was not the place to be if things collapsed, so he arranged for a New Zealand passport just in case. Other American elites were getting similar ideas.
The rest of my hour with them was them asking me all these like really specific questions about how to water test their plans for the apocalypse, for the electromagnetic pulse, or the economic downturn, or the disease or war that would necessitate them leaving their Silicon Valley ranches and retreating to these fortified bunkers in the middle of nowhere.
The government's secret plans to save itself now have competition from the secret plans of the 1%. From converted Cold War bunkers and missile silos to specially outfitted yachts, a doomsday industry caters to the mega-rich. Luxury bunkers with indoor pools, artificial sunlight, and supplies to stay sealed off from the world for years. From the Cold War till now, the most powerful people end up being the ones most afraid. And today, even as the actions of a few at the top have helped push poverty rates near their highest levels in half a century, it's the rich who fear losing control. Elite anxiety is on the rise.
The billionaires, they understand that they're playing a dangerous game, that they are running out of room to externalize the damage of the way their companies operate. Eventually, there's going to be, the social unrest that leads to your undoing, which is why these same people are looking at creating bomb shelters, going to Australia or New Zealand.
What I would say is this was sort of an acceleration of the notion of what we had called gated communities, where you try to insulate yourself from the social discord that's outside. But here, it was an evacuation plan.
For the billionaires in the green room with Rushkoff, the biggest concern is protecting themselves from the unruly masses.
The question we ended up spending the majority of time on was, how do I maintain control of my security force after my money is worthless? So these guys had already secured Navy SEALs and security forces to come and guard their facilities for them. But if the US economy goes belly up, if the government's gone, if dollars are worthless, then why are those guys going to stay and protect them? Once they start talking in those terms, It's really easy to puncture a hole in their plan. So you've got 20 Navy SEALs hired to protect you and your family from the marauding mobs of people with jeeps and bazookas. Let's say that they've got great weapons and great strategies. Why are they defending you? Why are they letting you be in charge? Why won't they want their commander to be the one in charge?
Clear it, pop it.
Any monarch or ruler who is depending on their military to maintain their power ends up in a military coup, right? They end up taken over by their junta. It doesn't work that way. So what could we do? And there's one of those, I was thinking, we could do shock collars. Get them to wear shock collars so I could, zap them if they're gonna go off and they understand that that's the price. Shock collars, really? You really think shock collars are gonna work? They're gonna wait till you're asleep in order to grab the little control button. It's just not gonna work. The most powerful people in the world, they see themselves as utterly incapable of actually creating a future in which everything's gonna be okay. They're gonna bet all their money on how do they, as individuals, somehow survive that disaster. They're destroying the whole thing. They're destroying the whole thing because they can't see a way out because of that paucity of imagination, because they don't want to acknowledge the larger operating system on which they're functioning. And they're slowly waking up to it, but rather than sort of come out of their mental bunkers and look at, wow, how could I operate in a less destructive, extractive way? Instead, they're just thinking, what's my safety plan? What's my escape hatch? How much food do I need to stick in my basement in order to survive the thing?